Hello everyone and welcome back. Geek Studios. I'm Joel. Sebastian's behind the camera. And this is my 2022 Kia EV6. So why am I here in front of my 2022 Kia EV6? Because I'm going to go over with you some of the things that I absolutely adore about this EV6. And I'm going to go over some things with you that I actually can't stand about this EV6. I wouldn't say hate, that's a harsh word, but things I can't stand about this EV6. So a little background. 2022 EV6 rear-wheel drive Win Edition. So this is one of the first ones on the lot in 2022. So Super Bowl ad ran in 2022, February about this time. And I'd say 3 weeks after that, we picked this up at a local dealership. So 4-year anniversary on this car. So I'm one of the few people out there that still have their original probably Kia EV6. Like I said, it's the Win. It's a rear-wheel drive. And I think just approaching 62,000 miles on it. So this has not always been my daily driver. Behind Sebastian is a Kia EV9. So my wife just recently got that vehicle probably about 6 months ago. Before that, this was her daily driver. I was in a Tesla Model Y, a 2020. We got rid of the Y. I took this over as my daily driver. And during that time, I've come to find out some things that I really like and really don't like about it. So we're going to go over all of those right now. And if you have some things that you don't like or like about your Kia EV6, put those in the comments. We'll see you here in a sec. All right, we're going to start with what I love about this car. So unfortunately, my house is on a slope and we're outside today because it's got some bad lighting in there. So we're fighting a slope today. So let's go to the back here first. So we'll start. And if you watch Sebastian's video about this, same as mine, speeds. So first thing, actually, this is a hate thing. We're going to talk about it now.
Well, you're not hitting it. There you go.
The charge port door does not open if it's been sitting for a while.
Not even that long. It's been like 3 minutes.
It's been here, but really, we just literally pulled it up about 3 or 4 minutes ago. So what you have to do is, unfortunately, open a door or unlock it with your key fob. And now it opens. So the great thing about the Kias and Hyundai EGMP cars is these cars have great charging speed. So we're talking 10 to 80% in about 18, 20 minutes.
18, yeah.
And top speeds, what about 230 kilowatts?
Ish.
230 kilowatts-ish, if you can get a charger to handle that speed. So yeah, on long distance traveling, great charging speed. In fact, as Sebastian mentioned in his video, I'm usually stopping longer than the car charges. So we have kids, we're stopping, and our stop's usually 20, 25 minutes long. So we bump that up to 100%. So, you know, it can keep charging while we're out. So charging is great. You know, AC charging for me has been fine, no big issues. I charge inside, so I don't have to worry about temperature issues with AC charging and things like that. So all that has been great. Let's close that. I'm gonna pop it in the front. Sebastian, get in the passenger side. Let's talk about some things I love on the inside. Oh, all right. We are now inside. The first thing that I love that was better than my Model Y is this is a very comfortable seating position. The seats are comfortable. The drive is comfortable. The display is what you see is comfortable. Long hauls, it's really good. The other thing I like about this version is it has the memory. So you look up there to my wife's 1 and 2. My wife's car, EV9, does not have that. So let's turn that air down. Yeah. My wife's car does not have that. So it doesn't have the manual or the automatic or the remember seat controls over here for you to set them and things like that. So I'm in number 1 and it sets for me. She's at number 2. And as you can see, it kind of pops up and moves them around. But yeah, we stay in number 1. Everything is great. That's what I love about this car. Another thing I love about this car is, I mentioned on road trips, it drives fantastic. Now, when it comes to EVs, the only thing I really have to compare it to long distance driving is my Model 3 and my Model Y. And this is so much better on the road than the Model 3 and the Model Y. It's comfortable. The suspension is great. You don't feel those potholes like you're running over, you know, small children. It feels great. So that's one thing I love about this.
Joel,
yes,
I have an important question.
Yes.
Why do you know what it feels like to run over a small child?
Just in case you want to know what it's felt like, you know, that's what it feels like, you know, or you know, small animal or a tree limb. something like that, but you don't feel that in this car. It's a nice quiet. The cabin is quiet. My Model Y, the cabin was loud. You heard road noise. You do not hear this in this car, which is awesome, which is what I love. While we're in here, let's talk about some things that annoy me. So let's look at this. This whole area here annoys me. First, what annoys me about this area is it makes the cabin look smaller. A lot of these things could have been moved elsewhere. They could have been up here. The start button could have been up here. The shifter could have been up here. Heated seats could have been over here. This is just long and annoying, and it feels cramped in here for me. It could be because I'm 6'2" and things like that, but that's what it feels like. Another thing here that annoys me is this thing right here, and that is the wireless phone charger. I have an iPhone 16 Pro Max. It barely fits, and you'll notice. What do you know, Sebastian?
It's not charging.
It's not charging. It will constantly, while you're driving, beep off and on to charge. So I don't know if it's the case. I've taken it off without the case, but everyone has a case in their phone, so you don't want to charge it without the case. So I have it sitting there and not charging. It's an annoyance. So you have options then. You can, if you want to, charge, not up down there. So I can do this. But another thing that annoys me is when I do this, and Sebastian will know what happens when you do this to charge it. What happens for the most part? Your Apple CarPlay is going to come on.
Mm-hmm.
So if something is going on my phone or while it's charging, or for example, my kids are sometimes in the front seat charging on this outlet up here, and they're playing on their phones, and it cuts to Apple CarPlay. And that's just a pain in the butt, especially if we're on a trip, we have multiple people charging in those multiple outlets. That is kind of a pain in the butt for me. Because if I want to use CarPlay, I don't keep all these cords in my car. So I could charge over here, at the other side over here, but that's USB-C. I don't carry all those adapters in my car. So I wish in my wife's EV9, you have the toggle to where you could just do charging or data, and it transfers to both, and you can do that. This one doesn't have that, and I wish it did. That's one of the things that annoys me in that car. Another thing in this car that kind of annoys me on the inside before we get to the outside is the back window is extremely small. And like Sebastian said, on these cars, with the way they're designed, because the wheels are pushed so far out, that window gets dirty. And I have no wiper on, just like Sebastian has no wiper on his, and it's a pain in the butt. That window stays constantly dirty. And also because of that, the camera back there stays constantly dirty.
Yes.
So if you're trying to back out or see something, like we just have recently had, 11 or 12 inches of, here in this area, about 11, 12 inches of snow, ice, sleet, all mixed together. In fact, it's been 2 weeks since that happened, and there's still some around somewhere. That mirror, I couldn't even see out the back of the mirror. It was so dirty. And that's just one of those things that annoys the heck out of me. Some other things I do love on the interior. Also, we have the heated and cold seats. Love it. They work great, almost too powerful. Love it. I wish there was a way that you could do that from the app, but you can't. So you have to do it from the car here. It's these buttons here in this middle area that I don't like. Also, I wish the gear shifter here was not circular. I wish it was
So you mentioned your heated and cooled seats.
Yes.
Something that I think annoys you and you're just not thinking about. What are you missing down here? What button is not there?
So this is weird. So this is the Win model, and this car comes with heated and cooled seats. It is great. What it does not come with for some reason is a heated steering wheel. And your car is different.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Sebastian's Hyundai, which is its sister car, its brother from another mother, it comes with a heated steering wheel, but no heated and cooled seats.
I think it's, I have heated seats. I don't have cooled seats.
Cold seats, okay.
I think it's interesting on the EV6, the only way to get a heated steering wheel is to get the all-wheel drive version.
Even if you had the GT line.
Yeah, even if you have the fully loaded GT line,
Yep.
you don't get a heated steering wheel.
Unless it's all-wheel drive.
And I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that actually annoys you, but I love my heated steering wheel.
Yes. If I had to pick, I would choose heated and cold seats over a heated steering wheel. My wife is opposite. She loves the heated steering wheel. So yeah, so if I had to choose that. Everything else on the interior of this car, I love. I've done some aftermarket stuff, like down here, this was a big, huge opening. I put a little organizer down here because that was kind of like being kind of like a throw space and things like that. But yeah, everything else in here works great. Let's go to the outside, talk about the outside, some things that I love in here. Let's pop out.
Oh yeah, other weirdness between Hyundai Kia. Your similar trim level Kia comes with fancy sound system. Mine does not.
fancy's a very loose term. I left the car on, which I do all the time. Which is something else I wish this car would do that my Tesla did. In my Tesla, no matter if the car's on or whatever, as soon as you open that door, it cuts it off. And I wish this did that. Whenever I engage to open the door, and whenever I open the door, car shuts off. I wish this did that, because that was the hardest part transitioning from a Tesla to a Kia, was I was so used to just being able to get out of the car, not even have it in park. I could open the door and Tesla would automatically put it in park, turn it off for me for the most part. This, for about 6 months, I keep fighting getting out of the car and not turning it on. Let's look at the front here. One thing I love about the front is this design. If you know Sebastian's car, when he talked about it, his was more of a flat design. Mine has more curve to it, and I love it. I still have the rock chip issues that you can see, but like I said, this car is 4 years old, 60,000 miles.
And you have a lot less rock chips than I do.
I have a lot less rock chips because it's curved. However, and we can't show this now, the one thing I hate, I'm going to say hate about this car, are the headlights.
Interesting.
So here's what I don't like about them. They're too low at night. I've even taken them in and they, quote, said they've adjusted them up, but they're too low to the ground at night. They don't shine out. And I've seen that complaint a lot in the EV6 forums on Facebook and all that the lights shine too low. I like the design of the lights, but they shine too low. I don't know if that's, I've heard that's something that has been maybe fixed in the newer models, but the older models, and I'll get Sebastian here once at night and we'll drive around and you can just see they're bright enough, but they're just too low in the ground. You can't see more than 10, 15 feet out in front of you. And after that, it's dark.
Yeah, that's super interesting because, I mean, my Ioniq 5 down there.
Yep.
Similar trim level, whatever. Headlights are excellent.
Yep.
Or at least I think they are. I mean, maybe they're not, but I think they're excellent.
Yep.
Are they full LED on this?
I believe they are.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So let's go to the back. So, and you really can't see it because we have stuff back here. But one thing I do love is you get a lot for what you're getting. You get a lot of cargo room. So a lot of cargo room. As you can see, we just came from an event. I got a canopy in here. I got a table in here. We have some pop-up sign things in there. Plenty of room. But also, a thing I like about it is these seats recline. This may be like your car. Recline pretty far back.
Okay.
So that helps because a lot of the issues you have with these cars is if you're about 6 feet tall, after a while, your head is going to hit the top a little bit.
Yeah. So if that was just me anecdotally, sorry to take over your video.
Take over my video.
When I was shopping for cars, you know, EV6, Ioniq 5 are obviously the same car for the most part. One of the things that kind of ruled out the EV6 was since it has this more sloping hatchback design versus this, which I still consider is more of a hatchback than an SUV, but it has more of a traditional SUV shape. As a tall person, I wouldn't feel comfortable really riding in the back of this.
Yeah. So what you have to do is you almost have to recline the seats the whole way back. So you're almost sitting at a weird angle, almost like a 100-degree angle or 120-degree angle while you're riding, so your head doesn't hit the top.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that are annoying and things like that. The other thing, and this has been fixed with a software update, was the original sound in this car was trash. Like, you'd have to put it on like 30 to have decent sound. And after that, it was still not good. I did have issues. The subwoofer did have to be replaced or something on it fixed. The subwoofer did go out on this thing. So
interesting.
They
have you ever, we haven't ever looked to see if the wires are back.
We never looked at it. We never got that. We saw that from Technically Jeff's video. We never checked to see, excuse me, if the wires are backwards. But I will say about 4 months ago, we got a software update and the sound system's a lot better. I usually keep the radio on like 10 now and things like that. So that is a lot better. But yeah, subwoofer did go out. Also, another little thing that went out in my car on both sides when I first got it. And I don't know if this is just an original model, but all cars have the little hatches or the little switches back here to put the back row down from back here. As soon as I bought my car, pulled on the left one, snapped instantaneously, pulled on the right one. This is literally a week after having it. Pulled on the right one, snapped instantaneously.
Oh, that would have made me so mad.
Yeah. So I took it back. They fixed it right away. I apologized for it. I don't know if it was a faulty wiring or things like that, but that was one of those things that goes out of my control I couldn't fix. You shut it. So if you're familiar with these cars, the NGB cars, the earlier models of them, there were issues with ICCUs. So Sebastian, I'm gonna let you, what is an ICCU?
So in this car, it's the integrated charging control unit.
Yeah.
So in these cars, it essentially does all of the battery like stuff. So it controls how off like your AC charging, DC charging. It controls how the big battery charges the 12-volt battery. It monitors all that. It does a lot of stuff on these cars.
Gotcha. So these cars are notorious for having issues with ICCU. This has probably had, and yours has probably had it too, probably about 3 updates that I had to take it in for. Not updates, recalls. I had to take it in for to get fixed. That's one of the issues I have with it. Another issue was this. So, and I'm glad I found this out before I went on a trip. So as we all know, this is how, oh, can't open it again.
And we just had the car open.
Yep. So unlock. Now. So at one point, and I don't know why I figured this out. I was out driving around and I stopped at JT's, Franklin Charging. And
shout out, love you.
Shout out JT. Plugged it into one of his chargers, would not charge. Wouldn't talk to each other. So I thought it was something's wrong with his charger. It wasn't something wrong with his charger because I went and drove around the city and tried 3 others. So something happened with the charge port mechanism here. It would not DC fast charge. It would AC fast charge.
Or just AC charge.
It would AC charge, but it wouldn't DC charge, which is weird. So they did fix that. It was under warranty, things like that. But I'm lucky I found that out before going on a road trip down the road and trying to DC fast charge. So what do you do now every time before you go on a road trip?
I always catch myself checking to make sure it'll DC fast charge.
The day before he goes or something, he'll drive over to Franklin's real quick in Hot Springs and plug in just to make sure.
Because I don't want to be 200 miles from home.
And I still do it too, just in case. I'll stop somewhere real quick on the way home, plug it in, see if it works, and we're good to go.
And now that wasn't your charge port, and that wasn't the ICCU. That was the VCU?
Yeah, VCU.
It's a vehicle charge unit or whatever. It's
Yep.
essentially what does the switching for the AC,
and
DC, and vehicle to load.
Yep. Another thing I like about the outside of this car, which is weird, there's lights up here.
Really?
I don't know if you have lights on your car.
No.
There are lights up here. So at night, when you're unlocking your car and getting into it, these lights turn on here.
So that is a feature I actually miss.
Yeah.
My wife's, when she had her Santa Fe, it had the puddle lights on the mirror and in the door handle so that at night you could see.
Now, I don't think the 9 has it. I don't know. I'll have to go look in a minute. But yeah, these have the puddle lights up here.
Very
I don't know
cool.
what you call them. But yeah, love that feature because especially when the kids are trying to get in the car and everything, they can see getting in the car. They're not feeling everything like that. But these lights up here come on, which I actually love. Another thing I love about this car, and I don't know why, I like this area right here. And I know it's just for aerodynamics and things like that, but I really like how you have this opening right here.
I mean, I think the EV6 is a good looking car.
Yeah.
It's
got more hips to it and booty to it than I think your car does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like for profile, the silhouette of it is solid. I still personally like the Ioniq 5 a little bit more, but it is a solid looking car in my opinion.
It is a solid looking car. I mean, honestly, I had reservations coming from Tesla. Love the software in a Tesla. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Here, we'll pop back in. But I love the software in a Tesla. It's 99.9% brilliant. Elon didn't. You can say what you want about Elon, but what he did with the software in a Tesla is absolutely.
Well, because it wasn't him.
His team is absolutely amazing. The way it's integrated with everything else, it's like I compare it to owning an Apple versus an Android, and people will disagree with me on that. But it's just everything works. It works with the app. It works with everything. It sends you text messages. It's great. But let's pop inside. Sebastian can pop inside. So let's look at some of the weird issues. Just trying to open the trunk. So you'll notice too, it doesn't have what?
It doesn't do the walk-up unlock.
And now it will, the mirrors will fold back out.
So it knows you're here.
It knows I'm here. It's like, hi, you're here. But guess what? You got to use the good old key.
Oh, can you not do the button on the door?
Let's try. I guess you can.
Cool.
I never tried that before.
So, quick difference. My car, when it's unlocked, handles pop out.
This you can
Your
never
car,
tell.
they don't pop out. So
Nope.
you have to do the whole.
The only way you would know if this
push.
car is locked without the handles would be known if the mirror's folded.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's talk. Let's start it up. Push button start. We need to get away from that, people. We don't need push button start. Just get in and the car's on. We don't need push button start. This drives me. Let's talk about that.
Honestly, it went away a lot faster for you than it usually does
So
for me.
yeah. I don't know if it's going to work now because I'm still in the car.
Here, hold on. I think we got to open a door.
Now we'll look. For some odd reason, I've never seen a car that has like a user agreement every time you turn it on. But you'll see when I pop it on. Oh, it didn't do it that time.
Anyway.
Yeah, because we didn't walk away. There's a user agreement. If you want to hit confirm, you can confirm. Another thing it drives me wild. When that screen first pops up, it does take about 45 seconds to a minute for your Bluetooth to connect.
Okay.
So by the way, if I drive out of my driveway and try to make a phone call, I can't make it till I get to the top of my road. It takes a minute it says Bluetooth is not working with the user agreement screen on. So you have to wait the 10 or 15 seconds for the user agreement screen to go by, or you have to hit the confirm button that you agree to. You know I've confirmed it 300 or 400 times and things like that. So I love this layout. The software, I'm spoiled. I came from a Tesla. So that software, like I said, was flawless. This software kind of drives me batty. As you can see, there's just a lot of stuff here. And knowing where, for a reason, this thing doesn't keep daylight savings time. Every time the time changes, you have to go in there and manually fix it.
You know what? I don't think I had that issue.
I don't know what it is, but even when I go into, if I can remember the setup here, I don't got to figure out where it is. God, is it under general? And this is another system you have, keyboard, date, and time. So here, I have daylight savings time unchecked because if I check it,
it just changes the hour. And you would think with this setting
it would
on
work
to set the time automatically, that would include this setting.
So what I'm gonna have to do in March is when I start my car is come in and hit the daylight savings time button, and now it will spring forward that 1 hour. That's just something you think we've solved that problem years ago in cars. I don't understand that. This car does do OTA updates. Not all Kias do OTA updates, and why is that? What do you have to have for OTA updates, Sebastian?
You have to have it's not Blue Link, it's a
Kia Connect. So you have to have Kia Connect, but you have to have the top line version of Kia Connect. Kia Connect is the version is what connects you to the app and things like that. It gives you those app features. On the lower version of Kia Connect, like the free version, there's only certain things you can do. Basically, I think you can start and stop your car and unlock the doors, and that's basically it. If I'm wrong, put in the comments. I might be. So we have the paid version. My wife gets 3 years because she leases her EV9, so she has to pay for it. But it's like $19.99 a month or $24.99 a month. I don't know. My wife runs all the bills. I don't know it, but it's kind of pricey. But I will say this. I'm really good about getting OT updates, but from what I've seen and what Sebastian's seen with his car, if you watched his video, the OT updates seem to be just infotainment and map. The one time I did get the sound one, but there's nothing else that seems to be getting updated. And you commented that too, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know what it is. They're not updating, charging speeds or tweaking like that. Tesla, when they send you an OTA update, you may say, oh, well, guess what? It improved efficiency or did something like that. It did some battery control or BMS or something like that where it did something. This is strictly, if I go to general here and I go to system info, I see mine was last updated on 2.4. OT updates are capable, firmware version. But as you can see, this for the most part, you're just getting.
I didn't mention this in mine. I've actually forgotten just seeing you do it. There's no way in here to check for an update.
No.
You just have to wait for it to show up.
Yep.
Now you can do a USB.
Yeah. So if you wanted to download a new map or something like, you can do that. But I actually tried that one time, and it said the map was unavailable because from what I heard, the fall version of the map update, because I think Kia does a spring and a fall where you can actually go to your computer and do the OG style, plug your USB in, go to the website, download the map, come in, plug it in here, and do all that fun stuff. That version was taken away because I think there was some corruption issues in there that was bricking the car, stuff like that. So
you want to know something fascinating?
What?
So when I first bought my car and we were getting an OTA update, I'm Captain Impatient. I wanted it faster. Mm-hmm. I ended up waiting for it because when I was trying to download it, I couldn't find a flash drive big enough. Mm-hmm. It needed like 80 gigs.
Really?
Which is insane.
That's like that's pretty big.
Yeah, it told me I needed an 80 gig drive, and it downloaded
80 gig thumb drives.
It let me download it, and then it just wouldn't flash it because it realized it didn't have enough space. Yeah. And so the fact that you can't come in and manually check, and it just sits there and downloads it, that's a lot of download over the cellular connection.
It is. And here's the weird thing: the car, and this is what I figured out before. When you start an update, the screen doesn't work. Mm-hmm. You can drive. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't work. So we were actually somewhere, and I got out of the car. I think we were eating, and I got out of the car, and I had start update, and I came back. It wasn't done yet. So it says car will update, do not drive, and I'm driving down the road. I can see my main display here, my driver's display, but this was all black.
Yeah.
For about 4 or 5 minutes, which isn't a big deal. I can listen to the radio, couldn't see time, but it did update. Now for a while now, at the beginning when it first did OTA updates, and I think it got one. The car would only OTA update when the car was moving. So that was the original one. The car had to be moving. I'm guessing because maybe it was pulling cellular, I don't know what, but the car had to be moving to update. And you can see it updating over here, which is they've updated that. You don't see it anymore.
Apparently this got a design award.
Yeah, design award. Yeah.
So, for software.
Yes. And the last thing we're going to talk about that bothers me is this. What do you think bothers me about this?
This just, it's not one function.
It's not one. So as you can see, there's a button here. I can control the air. However, if I want to control the volume of the radio, I can't. I have to hit now this button here. I'm not going to turn up the radio or map because I don't, you know, we have stuff like that. We copyright stuff. But as now under here, I have buttons for radio and map and things like that.
Do you know the trick? Have I told you the trick yet?
What's the trick?
Which would you want to be the default?
The default, I want the air to be the default. So I can control all that up here.
So if you're on the air, I believe, if I remember right, if you press and hold this, you can now tell it what you want it to return to after a timeout. So if I hit climate.
That's what I want to turn to. Sorry.
And now when I hit this, you'll see it goes to map.
Yep.
And after a few seconds.
Sebastian found an Easter egg.
Boom.
Look at that. So yeah, I mean, that's just a pain, but because it's mental. Like if you're driving down the road and someone calls or your wife's talking, your initial thought is to go over here and just turn the radio down. Or if someone's in the passenger seat, their initial thing is to turn the radio down if it's too loud. They can't do that over there unless they hit that button and do it right there. Now, you know, you have controls over here, which is where you do, but just one of those little weird things. They have fixed that in the newer cars, I believe, with their new system. So now it's 2 separate areas and things like that. So, would I buy this car again? If I had to buy this car again, I would. There's nothing I just can't stand about this car. It's just weird little things. And I know every car's going to be like that. So if I drove this, or if I drove a Ford F-150 Lightning, or if I drove a Rivian or something like that, there's something about it that would bother me. But I will say this. If I had to choose between glitchy software and a very comfortable, solid ride, I would choose a very comfortable, solid ride over glitchy software.
Okay. Because
that's one thing that my Tesla had great software, but I didn't like to ride. And that's because I'm just getting older and I'm having back issues and I'm approaching 50, but I prefer this for what I do in this car, which is basically to and from work every day. It's fine. Now, if we had to take it on long trips, that may bother me because then the issues with software and some of the issues that we have with navigation and things like that and just being a little, you know, trippy. Because as of just recently, I would say, what update was it we got, Sebastian, to now it actually would let you navigate to a supercharger and show.
That was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago. So before 6 months ago, if I was going to South Carolina, it would not navigate, it would not precondition, it would not do anything like that. I'd have to guess or pull up a better route planner or use a third-party app to figure out where to charge. It does that. It's not great because it really wants to get you to chargers around 20%. We don't do that. We like to get there around 10% at the most, 5 to 10%. So you kind of have to tweak a little bit, but that's why we always, for the most part, use a dongle and just use a better route planner or things like that. So any question before we go, Sebastian?
No, I mean, you've pretty thoroughly talked about it. You've mentioned most of the stuff that I also mentioned in my video. You've mentioned a couple things that are unique to your car.
Yep.
Like when you mentioned the whole center console area. It's like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It does make it a little bit more tight feeling in here. Because, you know, mine has a center console, but it stops like here.
Yeah.
And it folds up and out of the way. So, and then it's just wide open on the floor. So I see that. I also think it's interesting in yours. So your radio port is a USB-A, and the rest of your ports are USB-C.
Yeah. These are all USB-Cs too.
My car is a year newer than yours, and every one of my ports in my car is USB-A.
So I don't know why they decided to go with USB-C here, but that's USB-A. The two back here are USB-A. So we have to carry multiple cords in this car.
But then for me, every port in my car is USB-A.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, this is your car, whatever. Yeah. It does feel a bit darker in here.
It does. I don't know, it's because it's a darker interior
than mine.
You know, these cars do not, this model does, the Wind rear-wheel drive does not come with the sunroof, which is fine with me. Actually, the Wind on the Kia EV9 though does come with the sunroof. So it's weird how they model their and trim their cars out. But it does feel darker in here. You do have a lot of that piano black that after a while will start wearing and tearing and chipping your fingerprints on. But it does feel darker in here. And it may be because you have a lighter interior in your car too. Yeah. You have the white seats, which is something you're not a big fan of. These seats are kind of, you know, shiny and black, which is fine. They've been held up pretty well. But yeah, if I had to buy this car again, I would buy it again. My wife drove it for 3 years and 6 months. I've been driving it for 6 months. No issues. As you can see, 62,000 miles on it. So we're putting about 15,000 miles on a year. And no major issues. A couple recalls for the ICCU. The VCU, the vehicle control unit went out. The vehicle charging unit went out. Had to replace that. Those little switches that had to be replaced. But other than that, no major issues with this car. Oh, 12 volt. Have you had an issue with your 12 volt?
I have not.
So
mine, I can tell was replaced right before I bought it because the sticker says it was installed in May.
So another thing about the Kia cars is I don't know if they had a bad batch of 12 volts, but my 12 volt went out on me probably around 45,000 miles. They did cover it under warranty, but getting them to understand that the 12 volt was an issue took about 3 trips because I would jump it like you did, and I'd take it in, they test it, and they say it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, and then I get it back home. I had to literally let the car die on the street and have them come take it away in a flatbed, so it was dead when they got it. For them to actually see, yeah, you need your 12 volt. I was like, yeah, I've been telling you for 2 months now I need your 12 volt, but no one wanted to listen to me. So that's why Sebastian keeps your little jumper in your car.
Yeah. So question.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid our gimbal's about to die, so we might be cutting this short here in a second. What do you still think is better, knowing your experience with the mics plugged in?
Okay.
Actually,
yeah.
Will it let me do that? What do you think? So now that you've actually had Kia service experience, I haven't had to take mine for anything yet. Would you pick the Kia experience of having dealerships nearby, but they might be incompetent, over the Tesla experience, which now we have a service center in North Little Rock, so it does change it a little bit. But previously you had to take your Tesla to Memphis anytime you had an issue.
Yes. Honestly, I prefer the Kia issue because the issue I had at Tesla was they were kind of incompetent too. So, yeah, I mean, I had to take my car in for something. It was an actual over-the-air update for something, but it had to be taken to a dealer too. And I forget what it was for, but that's Memphis, and that's 2.5 hours away. My appointment was at 9 o'clock, and I got there at 8:30, and I didn't leave till 4.
Yeah.
For an over-the-air update.
Yeah, that sucks.
And then I drive 2 hours back that same day. So yeah, I've noticed with taking my car in now to the dealer, it's a lot better than what it was 4 years ago.
Okay.
They understand what's going on. They seem to know what's going on now. The features, like the VCU when it went out probably a year ago, they were pretty much easy to diagnose it and say, you know what, if you want to, you can drive the car still because you're not DC fast charging, and then we get it in, bring it in, and we'll swap it out. And that's what they did because I don't have to worry about having a missed car, no loaner, because they weren't giving me a loaner for it. And so they seem to be getting better. At least the ones here in Little Rock seem to be getting better, which is good because we don't have a lot of EVs here in Little Rock. So it's nice to know that those are getting better.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for y'all listening. If you're a Kia EV6 owner or maybe a Hyundai Ioniq 5 owner and you're interested and you've owned your car for a couple of years, we want to know your comments too. Have you had ICC issues? What are the things you love or maybe not love about your car? We love to hear those comments, and we'll see you again on another EV Geek Studio video. So long, everyone.